Okay, so now we are live on YouTube. We currently live on YouTube. 18. So today's session. So now we are live on YouTube. We currently So we're going to cover LO3. So today, learning outcome, we're going to focus on testing our web pages that we've been creating. So the learning outcomes are going to include all the testing methods, functionality, usability, our user interface testing, compatibility, performance, and security. Also, we're going to cover test plan, which should be including more elements and the reason of why we're testing. By the end of this session, the learner should be able to complete user testing on the website developed. So let's just look more into some definitions of why we need testing. So by web testing is simply the umbrella term for process which test websites on other software application for unwanted defect and issues across broad range of devices. So once in our team of developers, we have completed the implementation phase, we really need to move into testing phase, where every company have this department with a software tester and a test analyst, which are going to test the functionality of our program and check debugs. So in order for our program, our application to run without errors, we always need to look into all these minor errors that might occur, and what could be the consequences of not improving them. So developers nowadays always like create softwares, but then we always need to look into what could be the debugs, which could always come up with when we work with softwares. So we can look into a video which will give a quick explanation of why they're so important.
Learning never stops, and with this thought, let's learn a little something on web testing today. This video will shed light on some of the essential aspects of web testing. So what exactly is web testing? It is a technique to test web applications with an intent to find out potential bugs or defects that could hamper the functionality of the application. It essentially includes functionality testing, graphical user interface testing, security testing, database testing, cross-browser or compatibility testing, performance testing, usability testing, and lastly, crowd testing. Throwing some more light on the type of web testing, we firstly have functional testing. This type of testing verifies whether the website is developed as per the functional requirements defined in the business documentations or not. It covers essentially 4 activities. The first, being testing the functionality of the URLs or links. The second, testing the input fields or forms to ensure its proper instrumentality. Then comes testing the cookies to ensure that it does not store any vital information of the user. Lastly, an end-to-end workflow testing is conducted to thoroughly check the flow of a web application according to the business requirements. Moving on to the second type of web testing, graphical user interface testing or GUI testing. It plays a crucial role in checking the UI aspects, whether it be the color scheme, adjustment and alignment of the text, and many others. One of the most crucial of all is security testing, especially for the banking domain as well as the e-commerce websites to ensure secure transactions. By testing the user sessions to be killed automatically when a user logs off or during inactivity, it safeguards the user's information along with ensuring inaccessibility of any unauthorized user. Testing for errors at the time of queries execution and its response time is what is conducted in database testing. To test the flow of data, whether it is displayed appropriately on the web page is also something which is conducted under database testing. With cross-browser or compatibility testing, a web application is tested across different combinations of browsers and operating system to verify its consistency across all, as well as eliminate any possible browser or OS related bugs. Performance testing. It essentially entails testing the response time of web application, its behavior during peak and non-peak load traffic, and the recovery time after any crash. With the number of tools such as Load Runner or JMeter, the ease to conduct performance testing helps in ensuring quality from the get-go. The essence of any application lies in its usability. With usability testing, this is achieved by testing various web elements, whether it be the images, links, etc., to ensure its consistency and visibility across all web pages. Along with this, such type of testing is conducted to ensure grammatical accuracy and an alt text for every image. Lastly, crowd testing or crowdsourced testing. It is the technique to involve a large group of people in testing a web application. With their feedbacks and suggestions, this type of testing has evolved over the years in identifying unnotified bugs or errors. We hope that you learned a little something from this effort of ours to keep on exploring.
So from the video, we just look into what are the most important phases of testing. So the video was really interesting because he basically gave a really good overview of the type of testing that might occur in SDLC. So by SDLC, I mean System Development Lifecycle. So let's give a scenario. For example, you've been hired in the development team, which will be comprehended with a department which work on the project, where you have IT managers and project managers. Then you have the design department, which they'll be working on implementing a suitable design. And then you have the developers, which could be software developers or software engineers. And moving on, once you've implemented this, the application of the software, that's when it comes into testing. Definitely, then you're going to have a testing department, which has to cover all the tasks, all the type of testing that have been mentioned in the video. So the video just explained, gave a bit of understanding of what are the reasons why we need to test. So as the video said, it is to ensuring performance, maintain a positive user interface, dynamically manage changing requirements, effective volume, accepting handling, exception handling, and monitor and proactively manage bottlenecks. So, as we saw from the video, these software testers, they're going to check into the functionality of our application. So once our developers has have completed the application, we need to check into functionality to see if each of our HTML pages or CSS are completely running efficiently. After that, we check into the usability to see how easy is this application, or how easy is to work with it. And after that, we need to test the graphic user interface. So by graphic user interface is simply what is going to be displayed, is simply the graphic. So it's just how the image is going to displayed within the web browser. And then we have compatibility test, where we have to check how these applications are compatible within all the web browsers, such as Google Chrome, Microsoft Explorer, Mozilla, Firefox, and many different other web browsers, and even on web applications as well. So when it comes to testing, it does follow, you do have to create a plan the same way you create a plan for the entire project. So as mentioned before, when we're working in a team, we follow a system development life cycle, where we have initial phase, planning phase, analysis, implementation, testing, and maintenance, deployment and maintenance. So in each of these phases, in each of these departments, we do have to plan as well how we're going to implement this testing. So when it comes for planning testing, we need to outline the key workflow. So by workflow is just simply the steps that are going to be covered. So for example, we're going to check functionality of, so for example, we're going to check how the navigation bar would work, or even the search section. And from checking this, we should be able to see if the code has been effectively compiled, or there might be some errors that need to be debugged. So after running this task, we need to specify assumption of dependency. So we need to see how much these pages can communicate with each other, and how they're being affected by other environmental and external components. So we now going to carry out a user testing on the website and amend as a result of testing. So with this step, we're going to simply find a case study. So we're going to have a scenario where we have, for example, friends or people that will volunteer to help with our case study. So we'll be given a test where they'll be asked to try our website and see what is wrong with it, and try to give us a feedback. So we always, as developers, we need to consider our users, like our customer. So if you do decide to work in a team, or for example, you do decide to work by yourself as a freelancer, it's always great to have some formative feedback which comes from external people, as I mentioned, could be friends, volunteer, or even strangers, where we going to give them the website and check for errors and see how this is run. So now, as we said, there are different ways where we can run tests. So what I want to simply show to you is so I want to just give a quick demonstration. So this is called AXE Dev Tools. So is a web accessibility testing. So if you do decide to get into software testing and you do get a job as a software tester, there are different ways where you can there are different tools that you're going to use to be working, depending on your company and your employer and how they work and how they decide what tools they decide to use. So I just want to give I just want to use AXE tool, which is a quite useful tool used by Google developers. So we just need to go into Google Chrome and type AXE DevTools, and once you log into it, you get this tool, and you just need to install the extension. So by installing the extension, which I successfully achieved by now, it says to start using XA development tools, you need to open developer tools, and then you have to select Control, Shift, and I. Or it gives you another option, which is you can right click on the screen and go to inspect. Oh yeah, so this is an alternative way. So navigate to XA DevTool, and then we have to follow this step. So let's, for example, take any website. So what website could we use? Let's go, for example, in one second, let me just check. It should be okay. Let me just maybe let me use Mercedes, for example. So this is the Mercedes website. So I would do the tool says click Control Shift and I. So I'll do Control plus and I. So by doing so, it just opened the console. So I just simply inspected. So here at the end, you can see I've installed XA Dev Tool. So now we simply accept and start using it. Select your rule. So once we install, we have to choose why we're using this. We're choosing it as a tester. Start using XA as a tester. then the next step you do is scan all these pages. So what this tool will do is scan into the page and find the errors on this web page. So Mercedes. So I just choose a random company. So I choose Mercedes. So if you do work as a software tester for Mercedes, you can run into the software and see that there are 71 errors on this web page. And he also says the nature: automatic issues 71, guided issues 0. And we can then scroll and see here it says all issues 71, and it shows you where all these issues are. So say, for example, bottom must have describable text, so it shows 2. But as we can see, we cannot really work on improving the website because we don't work for Mercedes. So this can simply be done by Mercedes developers. So this is a simple example of web testing, which can be done through this tool. So I cannot really modify this. So let me just go on UK Versity. UK Versity. UK Versity. So now I'm on UK Versity webpage. I can right click. So there was 2 options to run the command bar. So I can right click Okay, so there's some errors here, so I cannot really work with that. Let me just choose, for example, random page. Oh yeah, sorry, I was using the wrong command. Control Alt I. Yeah. So by opening the console, we can write a couple of codes in it. We can see the sources of the page, network, performance, and here we have the tool, so we can scan. We can run the scan. And here we found 121 errors. So let's give a scenario. So we work for UK Versity. Then we do have, there's UK Versity project manager, which has now say for example we are a company and UK Versity come to us and say, okay, I want a new website. I want you to build a new website. I want it to look like this, blah, blah, blah. So we have our project manager who then plan and design everything with the other department. And then once the developers have implemented the software, the web pages, they will come to us, they'll give us the web pages. And as a software tester, we have to now start working with our testing tools, which could be AXE Dev Tool. So from here, we found that our developers have done 121 errors. So by having these 121 errors, now we can check into where these errors are, and then we can fix them. So I wouldn't sign up for this one because obviously you need to pay for it. So I'm not going to pay for it. But this is a quite useful tool which can be used for software testing. Also, we can check into more software testing tools. Let's check to list. So here Google listed to us a couple of them. So apparently this is good. So depending on the company you work for, they might choose to which of these tools are more suitable. So Selenium you might work on integrated development environment, and this one they might be working for web driven, so it might look like the one that we just did. Then we are testing with yeah. Yeah, so as far as I know, I would say that as a developer, you could start practicing some coding by working with this simple tool. So this was everything for today. Is there any question for me?
No question.
Okay. Okay, so I'll stop the recording now. One second. Media. Ok, aspetta che smetto di